Here to keep the chase going, share information, spread unity, preserve our heritage and our culture. We're trying to achieve something that you just can't catch. We're always trying to find a better way, trying to make better dogs. That's what Dixie Doggers Podcast is. That's who we are. All right, everybody. Joey and Nate back here with you one more time. Dixie Doggers Podcast. Got us a gentleman on here tonight. Our guest, he's kind of a local feller more to our area, but he's known worldwide, I'm sure. He's into the old coon hunting stuff. He's been notorious for running some of these big dogs and taking a lot of people's trophies. Other people think they should have had him, but I'm sure that it didn't wind up that way. Like he's had Hog Creek Jake, Full Throttle Side Chick, run Meg, the notorious Conor McGregor dog. Now he's got old Cowboy up there mopping everybody up, taking all the winnings from them left and right. So without further ado, the Mr. Austin Gentry, the coon dog man. How you doing, Austin?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. I try to ham it up all I can.
Yeah, you hyped me up a little too much there.
Hey, I try to do that so that way, people they're like, man, who are these guys? And then of course, they usually get let down a little bit, but not with you, right. Not with you. So, well, man, tell us who you are and where you're from, and kind of the backstory. We'll go through the same old rigmarole. I'm sure everybody does, and give us how you got started and all that good stuff, and then we'll get to the good stories.
Well, like you said, my name's Austin Gentry. I'm 28 years old. I live right here in Hamilton, Alabama. That's where I've been my whole life. Been married 7 years to my wife, Heather. We got 4 kids. We got a 7-year-old boy, a 4-year-old girl, and 15-month-old twin girls.
Man. So
I got my hands full, and she definitely does with me and all my coon hunting stuff. So she's just to touch on that a minute. I couldn't do what I do if it wasn't for her. I leave every weekend going not every weekend, but at least 2 weekends a month going somewhere. And here she is making sure these kids, all the kids are at ball games and ball practices, and she's a good one, to say the least. And without her, I couldn't do nothing.
That's a good thing. You're one of the few people that have give a credit where credit's due. Most guys just do it all themselves.
Well,
they think they do.
No, see, I'm smart enough to know that. I mean, I pleasure hunt 5-6 nights a week, and hey, she'll never say a word most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
She's cool with it. She handles stuff, and hey, why she does it, I don't know, but man, she's really been good to us. I got started coon hunting. The first time I think I went was actually in about 2008. My buddy over here, lifelong best friend, he hunted a little bit and had some old dogs. They wasn't nothing special, just junk. And it was his birthday one year, and a bunch of us from school went over there and we went hunting. I don't know, I was 11 years old or something, 10, 11, somewhere in there. And which my family growing up, my papa and dad, they coon hunted when they was, my dad was growing up. So I got to hear all these coon dog stories and got a big scrapbook, and, Pop, he would just tell me all these stories about coon hunting. Well, Dad was already out of it, by the time I was a kid, and they grew up, they hunted red bones. Mm-hmm. So that's all I heard was these old red bone stories. And I thought it was kind of cool, the first time I finally got to go with my buddy Jake. He hunts walkers, and I went. I knew right then when we turned them dogs loose, we cut loose right there on a feeder bucket, and they just went and jammed treed on the tree the feeder was on.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a couple of coons up the tree, and I thought, well, this is this is easy. This is the coolest thing ever. And so I called my dad and I said, hey, I want to get a dog. And he's like, oh, he was laughing. Well, wasn't about a year later, I got my first dog. And it was the fastest dog we had. He died two years ago now. He died. He was 14 years old.
Man.
We kept him, and I'd give anything to have that joker back 4 or 5 years up when he was 4 or 5. He is one of my favorites. He's a different style of dog than what we hunt now, but man, he was one of my favorites. He was good. But that was my first dog, and I got in it and started going to a few of these hunts, and just one thing led to another. Of course, I'm just competitive. I wanted to compete in them, and I stayed coon hunting until about 2015 when I graduated high school. I had run up and down the road just a little bit, but the hunts was nothing like they are today,
Yeah.
When my first coon hunt that I won was at Crosby's Feed Store in Sulligit, and it was a Tuesday night hunt, a $25 hunt, and it paid $97.50 was a split. There was like 30 something entries.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean that's unheard. You don't have 30 something. You don't have 20 entries at a $25 or $30 hunt nowadays.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean that's kind of where I got started at. It just I got up and graduated high school. And when I graduated high school, I had dang near just about quit. Old fastest dog, he was getting on older, and well, we just kind of quit, and I stayed quit for I guess 5 or 6 years. I stayed quit.
Yeah.
And started back I think I started back around 2019, 2020. Okay. And I'm still wide open today.
What got you to start back on that, Austin?
Well, me and my wife, we had just started dating. No, we hadn't just started dating. We had been together 3 or 4 years, I guess. Maybe we just had got married.
You better get it right. She's going to listen to this now. You better get it right.
I know. I'm terrible with dates. I'm terrible with dates. But we had been married, and she knew I used to coon hunt and everything. And my dad, he said, started calling me. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go down here coon hunting with Jake and Chris," which is Jake's daddy. You met them down there at the fire department.
Yes.
But I was like, going coon hunting? I said, you couldn't pay me to start back coon hunting. Well, one thing led to, me and my dad are super close.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me, I'm going to go down there and listen to these dogs again tonight with Chris and Jake. And they had quit. Jake had quit with me for a little while, but Chris, Jake's daddy, they had got a little old dog and started hunting it. Finally, I told my wife one night, I said, I just got the itch. I mean, it was eating me alive knowing Daddy was going down there coon hunting. I said, I'm going to ride down there and listen to that dog. And that's about all it took. I drove down there, and man, it was just ate back up with it. And I went home. I didn't think nothing about it, didn't tell my wife nothing. And a couple of nights later, I said, I'm going to go back down here coon hunting. And she was like, what are you doing going coon hunting? And I was like, I used to coon hunt all the time. One thing later, I just started going every night.
Yeah.
And then Dad finally, my dad, he finally bought another dog. Wasn't long, month or so, we done that. He went and bought a dog, and he told me, he said, if you want to hunt, he said, I'll buy you a dog and you handle it. Which we had been reading about all these hunts, how they had changed.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, the sport had blowed up while I had been quit. And him and Big John Robertson, he said, you want to go get a dog, you find one, and if you like it, we'll buy it. So that's what they did. I went off to Kentucky and found this dog, and went up there to Kentucky, Jason Holloway's house, and tried her. We bought her. Give $5,000 for her, and brought her back. And man, I just got fired back up in these hunts. That girl, she was good to me in them hunts. And do what now?
That's pretty cool.
She was I brought her back down here, and I think the next night after I got back from Kentucky, I'm fresh back into it, and went to a $100 hunt or something and won. And I thought, well, dang, and I did pretty good with her. Got to get my feet wet back in the competition world, and we went on, and I got her went to the world hunt the first year we had her, got her in the quarterfinals of the world hunt, and we sold her to Ike Rainey in the quarterfinals. And then we ended up, though, before that was said and done with, I think we bought her back 3 different times.
Man.
Bought her back and sold her, bought her back and sold her. And she just wouldn't operate, right, for them other guys. And she was always operating for me. So we kept buying her back.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, it works.
That's right.
It's weird how dogs will do that for some people, and for others they won't.
That's right. Yeah, they're dogs are different. Dogs are just like humans. A lot of people don't look at it like that way, but they are. That every one of them is different.
Ain't no doubt. Now this dog, what breed was this one you're talking about?
She was out of Full Throttle Side Chick.
Oh, that was Side Chick. Okay.
Yeah, she was out of Jigs.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, she was out of Jigs and a poly female that Donnie Morgan owned there in Kentucky.
10-4. Now that when you got back into doing that, like you said, how much the hunts had changed, and how they blew up compared to when you first started back then to now, how much has it changed in that span of few years?
Well, if you would have told me one day we'd be hunting, you'd go hunt for $100,000, I'd have passed out. I mean, no way. And then here I am hunting in all these hunts. I'm thinking it's just wild to even wrap your head around.
Yeah.
And if you try to tell somebody that don't know anything about what we do in coon hunting, you tell them, hey, I'm going to coon hunt for $100,000 this weekend. They look at you like you're stupid.
Yes.
And they think you're lying to them.
Yes. I don't even do those hunts at all. And, they hosted a hunt out of the store a few weeks back to have an entry for $100,000 hunt. And I was telling some of the hog guys, the hog hunters, and they were like, so what is it? Everybody gets to split it all up, or is it for $100,000 for the year? I was like, no, it's a $100,000 hunt. And then I was explaining about the truck hunts and different things like that. They're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe it. Yeah. And they can't believe the price of the dogs. Like you were talking about, you give $5,000 for a side chick. I mean, what would that dog cost? Like a dog of that caliber, what's that dog run now? Right.
And well, we sold her, I sold her one time for $21,500, and then I sold her another time for $30,000.
Yes.
And then I think the last time we sold her for 15 or 18 or something. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we made a pile of money off that female.
Well, no doubt. And we watched they had a mule and dog sale out west. I think it was in Arizona the other day or this past week. And there was quite a few guys I know, and they were sharing that on social media. And they were talking about how much that one doggy went for. It was like $13,000.
Now the top seller for the line hound was $17,000.
Yeah, $17,000. That's what. And I told one guy, I was like, well, that ain't that much. And they're like, oh top. Yeah, that's top dog. I said no. I said there's coon dogs that'll go 3-4 times that.
Yeah, the top 5 average was like $13,500.
Yeah,
for the top 5 hounds.
And I mean, what would the top hound in the the top coon hound go for? I'm sure it's going to be 6 figures.
Man, there's been there's been a few, sell for 100,000. Z was sold for 100,000. Half of the O dog that Casey Stallard had was sold for 100,000.
Half of it. Damn.
There was several dogs there sold for 100,000.
I can't sell mine for $100. What am
I? That's the boat I've been stuck in. And there's a lot of money involved in the sport. Just to think about it though, from when I was a kid hunting, and even when I first started back, I mean, every weekend you can go and hunt for $10,000 to $20,000 every weekend. I mean, there's guys out here that are doing this for a living, and I think that's cool, because these guys are doing what most people would love to retire and do and stuff like that, and these guys are doing it for a living.
Yeah, that's somebody's dream, and they're living the dream. They're out there doing it. Because they're good handlers. You got to be a good handler, or you can't compete in that stuff.
100%.
I've learned so much since we opened this little store about coon hunting and the competition side of it that I never knew before. Because, like I said, I'm not a coon. I pleasure hunted, quite a few over the years, but I'm not a coon hunter.
Right.
But I have went more, and we actually have some dogs now that we'll coon hunt.
Right.
And it has really amazed me at, like you said, how big the sport is and how much it's growing. And
it is.
There's a lot of hunts that are going on.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And now, thanks to the sponsors and friends of Dixie Doggers. Animal Housing Solutions.
Boars N Broads.
Crockett Taxidermy.
Hardcore Hog Dogs.
Southern Cross Cut Gear.
Ada Y Transport.
4L Kennels.
The American Doghorn Museum.
Unique Hounding Hunting Supply.
Hogbaying.com.
Tuskers Magazine.
Mud Creek Hog Dog Trials.
So, like I said, you can hunt for $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000 every, of a given weekend. I mean, me and Michael Ward, we just got back Sunday. We had been in Ohio all weekend. We hunted for $10,000 Friday night and $10,000 Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to wrap your head around it when you really think about it.
Now, in that whole competition side of that whole atmosphere there, how is the fellowship and the camaraderie between the handlers and the other hunters? I mean, is it real cutthroat, or is it, it's pretty on the up and up, or
it's on the up and up. It's around the clubhouse for sure. If we're out and about, out to eat, anything, everybody's cool. I mean, these group of guys, I'm speaking for the majority there. You got an asshole in every bunch.
That's right.
But on the majority, these dudes are just great. And, but now when we draw these casts and we go these woods, it ain't all, I'm not going to say it's all like that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's, hey, I'm trying to beat you. I don't care who it is.
Yeah. It's
for 90 minutes or 2 hours or however long, I'm trying to beat you. I'm doing everything in my power. I'm going to try to beat you. When it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
And then after that, hey, you got a friend. And the good thing about this coon hunting world is what I've learned, like Eric Pite, he's got cancer and the things that happened before Judas Bolin died. Man, if something happens and somebody needs something in our coon hunting family, all these competition hunters that you grow to know going to all these hunts, if something happens, I'm going to tell you something. The group of coon hunters will pull together and raise money, do all kinds of things to help one of our friends' families in need. And I think that's cool. It shows you what kind of hearts these guys really get, what kind of people these guys really are.
Yeah, and I've seen that firsthand several times in this community. It's not just like where we live; it's all over. Like you said, it's these guys will go above and beyond, and you find that in a lot of the dog hunting world, whether it's coon hunting or squirrel hunting or hog hunting or whatever. There's great folks all around, but like I said, there's always an asshole here and there. But for the majority of it, seems like most dog hunters, even though you're competitive against each other, you're always there for each other as well.
That's right. I mean, we're out there. We love to do the same thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we all of us dog hunters, whether it's squirrel hunting, hog hunting, we have one thing. We have a lot in common.
Yeah.
You know, we love this sport. Not like I said, the group of coon hunters, for the most part, even though we're there to win life-changing money most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not a bad place to be. It's not a bad atmosphere. Now there's bad things that go on. There's a lot of cheating goes on. I mean, there's that in every sport.
Yeah, that's everything.
And when you get this kind of the kind of money that's on the line nowadays, I mean, people is doing anything and everything they can to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the negative side of it. But I do think all this money being involved, and it's coon hunting is being looked at more than ever. You got Josh Michaelis and everybody. Pro Sport usually goes live, and all these live feeds of these big coon hunts. It's being looked at now more than it ever has.
Yes,
and that's the positive to it.
Oh, without a doubt. It's like I said, it's something I've catch myself paying a lot of attention to it now. Used to, I never really did. You know, because I was busy doing my thing.
That's
but
right.
I got a friend of mine that's in the hog hunting stuff, or he's in the bay pen. He started hog hunting more in the woods. He's always hunted. Let me rephrase that. But he's got to where he hunts more in the woods now, more of a pleasure hunt and he still does the competition side of the hog bays. He owns that dog Goose, and Goose is a 5-time world champ. I mean, like, he is great at what he does. And his name is Randy Durrell. And Randy, he was asking me about these coon hunts because, like, he's probably won more money than, I know he owns 2 of the winningest dogs ever. And
right.
The comparison factor is what we were talking about. Because he told me, he said, I heard some of those coon hunts are, 20 and 30,000. I said, some of those coon hunts are 100,000 plus. And I sent him some pictures and videos of different people and their winnings and stuff. And he just, it blew his mind. He was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. Because like a dog of the caliber he's got, it would probably be, 100,000 minimum in the coon hunting world. I'd probably say it'd probably be 250,000. And in our world, in the hog hunting world, there's people that probably wouldn't want to give you 25,000 for him. And I'm like, this dog wins $25,000 every time he's turned loose.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't look at it like that. And so we were just talking about the comparison in it compared to other field trials and the other sports that involve dogs like that. I think coon hunting is probably at the top.
Yeah, there's a lot. And the reason why these dogs, why people claim there ain't none of these dogs worth this kind of money.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here and say I've ever give that kind of money for a dog, but that they're not worth it. None of these dogs are worth it. But the reason how you justify that is you can go win it back. In one weekend, you can win this money back. Now it's gambling. It's all it is. It's gambling.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go win it back. And that's why they say, oh, if my dog's worth this, he's got potential to win, this hunt. Well, yeah, that's what we all say. But, when you show up at that hunt, you got how many every other guys that are there. They showed up to win that hunt too.
That's right. That's exactly right. But I could, like you said, I could see that justification in it because it's like, if somebody had a dog and say they was going to sell him for $100,000, if you buy this dog and over the course of say 5 years and you win one hunt, well, you got your money back for your dog. If you win $100,000 hunt, that's what I'm saying. Or if the dog is real, real good and he is worth that, and you hit several of the $10,000 or $20,000 hunts and you win a truck hunt here and there, I mean, you're coming out to the good. That's that justification there. But like you said, is that what's going to happen though? Because you got however many other dogs are signed up. That's the odds it's changing.
Yeah, you can have good years, you can have bad years. You can go through good spells where you're on a hot streak, and man, them losing streaks ain't no good. I promise you, they're terrible. And when you get in a funk, it's hard to snap out of it.
Yeah,
and you just have them. It just happens like that. I think Dustin Weed, I think he has won, give or take, $130,000 or $40,000 this year.
Good.
By the time he's won 2 trucks, they won the Tournament of Champions. I mean, there's piles of money to be made in this sport.
Wow, that's wild. Now you were saying about pro sport earlier, and I know they got the PKC and UKC. Do you hunt all of those, or do you have a preference? Or
I do. I mean, I hunt them all. The UKC's got the Tournament of Champions thing going, and that's a really cool hunt. I went to it this year with Cowboy. We got in the top 24 of the Tournament of Champions, and that's a really cool hunt. But probably the best ran event I've ever been to, coon hunting. They make you feel like special. I mean, everything's done very professional. Man, it's a good hunt. But now I don't go to, UKC hunts most of the time. I've got enough wins on Cowboy. He's qualified for that Tournament of Champions next year, and I'm planning on going if nothing happens. But pro sport and PKC is my main deal. I mean, I'll go to a pro sport or PKC. It don't matter. I like both of them. Probably pro sport more than PKC now, just because of a few rules. But other than that,
that's what PKC I was going to ask. What the difference was in the rules. That was my next question. There is, I didn't know how much. I knew there was a difference in them, but I didn't know how much of a difference. And
a lot of them are very similar now, especially all registries with 3-minute trees, 125 tree points. PKC and Pro Sport used to be 100, and UKC was the only one with that 125 tree point first tree. And now all of them are 125 first tree. That made them very similar.
Okay.
And now all with the 3-minute trees. The main differences that I worry about is in PKC, you may go to a $6,500 hunt, $6,500 entry fee. Well, in PKC, they still have what they call the leash lock rule. Say if all 4 dogs, my dog's the first dog treed, bam. Mm-hmm. Well, these other 3 dogs get treed after mine. They're all separate, all split. Well, when I get to my dog, I'm leash locked. I can't cut my dog back loose after we score my tree. And I think that's stupid to pay $6,500
for an entry.
It don't matter if it's $35. You're paying an entry. How the hell are you going to win a coon hunt with walking your dog around on a leash?
Yeah. And the first time that was explained to me, I was in shock. I was like, are you serious?
Which is how I'm feeling right now.
That's the stupidest rule.
Justin, I think Tankersley's the one that told me about it first. And that's what he was telling me. He was like, you can win these hunts by pencil whipping somebody. He said, you can do that. And he said, there's just as many hunts won by somebody knowing the rules good and how to use them or even manipulate them to work for them better than the dog.
100%. And that's the thing. I hate to, which I don't pay my entry fees. I'm blessed. My guy I hunt for, he pays them. But man, I don't want to spend nobody's money. And if your dog's treed first or second or whatever, it needs to be rewarded to be cut back loose. Like that dog deserves to be cut back loose. And trying to hunt another one while these other dogs treat in second, third, and fourth,
Yeah.
But you're having to hold yours on the leash until all dogs are scored and then cut them back loose.
Yep.
I do not like that.
No,
Against it 110%.
Yeah.
And then another big rule is in PKC, I can say, you know, I'm treed through here. Say we're hunting for $100,000 and I'm going to tree my dog back behind us while we're walking to another dog that's treed. Well, when my tree's dead, I get to go to my tree by myself. Well, a lot of sketchy shit goes on there with $100,000 on the line.
Yeah.
But and I don't like that. I like pro sport. Pro sport is no leash lock. When you score your tree, you cut back loose. And all the cast members stay together at all times.
That would be the only way I would, to me, that would be the way I would do it, is everybody had to stay together. Because like you said, if somebody, I know everybody's, you're going by the honor system, basically, you know.
Right.
If you're walking back to that tree and you got somebody over here that we don't even know, and say there's 4 of us there and we don't know this other guy, he walks over to this tree, we don't know what he's seen or what he didn't see.
Right.
You know.
See, and that, well, that's the thing. Like, you know, say I'm treed through here in PKC. Well, I get to go handle my dog by myself. Well, I have to wait on the rest of the cast to come score me. If there's $100,000 on the line and I'm treed up a fence post, my dog's probably not going to be on that fence post when you get to me.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the downside to hunting for the amount of money we hunt for. Things get heated out there, and it's all over because of the prize is so big.
Mm-hmm.
It's $100,000 is life-changing money.
Yes, without a doubt.
And, you know, if you send Joe Blow to go handle his dog through there, you got to trust him to keep his dog on the tree that it was treed on.
Mm-hmm.
If he knows his tree's slick, do you think it's going to be tied to a slick tree when he gets there? No, it's not.
No.
It sure ain't.
Especially he turns around and looks, and there's one that's broke out, an old snag up there. You look and see like, there's a den up there, you know.
Right.
You know, and that's a little better looking anyway.
That's what you run into as far as a PKC hunts. And it happens. Don't think it don't. It happens every weekend. But that's where pro sport has got the edge on PKC right now, to me, in my opinion.
Now, what are the qualifications to hunt or pro sport hunt? What do you have to do?
As long as you're a pro sport member and your dog's registered in pro sport, you're good to go.
All right. I just making sure on that. That's pretty cool. Like I said, I've heard a lot about the pro sport stuff the past couple of years, and it seems like it's really taken over, you know.
It is. They're doing a good job with it. If they keep doing what they're doing with it and make a few changes here and there, they are taking over for sure.
Yeah. Now on these, for some of the listeners out there that's listening that aren't real familiar with the competition style of a dog, what do you look for in a competition dog? How do you want it to hunt? You know, you want it to be open on track, strike, you know. Give us a rundown on what you're looking for in a good dog.
Everybody's got their personal preferences, even though we're out there to do the same thing to win.
Mm-hmm.
Some people still prefer, an ambush style dog over a trailing style dog, and vice versa. Me personally, I don't have no just dead set. I'm not going to have but this type of dog.
Yeah.
But I want a dog that moves hard. Personally, I don't want a tight mouth dog, but there's so many tight mouth dogs that win now. But if you're tight on the ground, you've got to hustle. Yeah. And most tight dogs are ambush style dogs, move really, really fast in a straight line until they damn near see the coon climb the tree, and bam. And most tight mouth dogs are really accurate. They're going to have, 9 out of 10 coons, 10 out of 10. They're going to have them. But then on them bad nights where coons ain't moving, that's when the old trailing style of dog, comes to the top.
Yeah.
Can strike old bad track and trail it up and tree it. But a dog that hustles and moves around hard, And, you know, they got to have a coon when they get treed. You make a tree, and if I got a dog and I say, well, maybe he's got one up this tree. No, when my dog puts his feet on them tree, I know that dog's got a coon.
That's right.
You know, I don't want to be scratching my head going, man, we're walking in here for the win for 20,000 and wondering. No, I want to feel good about it.
That's right. You know, you got an accurate dog, and you got the confidence in the dog, which, I mean, number one, to me, why would you be hunting a big hunt like that if you didn't have a dog of that caliber anyway?
That's right.
Which I'm sure there's people that show up with dogs that probably shouldn't be there, but, you know, because they want to give it a shot. But I like how you describe that, though, with the ambush style dogs. That's what we look for, like on a hog dog style. And you're correct. They tend to be faster, a little hotter nosed. They don't mess around. And when they open up, they're there. It's there, you know.
Right.
And like we went to Georgia a couple weekends ago and we ran with some hounds. And now we did real good with our dogs, but them hounds, there was a couple of colder nose hounds in there. They got on the track and they stuck with it, ran it for 5 hours. I don't know how many miles we ran this hog in 100-degree weather. And at the end of it, the hog was there. And I was so impressed with that, because I was like, because the tight mouth dogs hustle harder and could outrun those dogs for a period of time. But after that 3 or 4 hour mark, those other dogs took over and they stayed with it.
Right.
And, you know, and at the end of it, I sat there shaking my head. I said, oh my God, you know, and there was a lot of walker dogs all mixed in there, but it definitely, you could see the difference right there. That was about as plain as nose on your face at that time. I just didn't know how many people like to run a tight mouth dog in the competition world on the coon hunting side.
Honestly, I mean, it's about 50-50.
Really?
If a dog hustles now, it can be tight mouth. I mean, Dustin, he just won this last truck with Lefty, and Lefty's dang near silent. But Lefty hustles and Lefty has his coons.
Yeah.
But, and I had Meg. Meg was that way. She was tight on the ground and she hustled and has coons. Preferably, that ain't my style. I like a dog to get open. They've got to hustle and they've got to have coons. If a dog hustles, I'm good.
There you go.
But when you really get back toward the trailing style of a dog, when you get in him, like where I was this weekend in Ohio, best coon hunting I've ever been in my whole life. I get up there, me and Ward get up there Friday morning. It's 52 degrees. I mean, it feels amazing.
Yes,
so
sir.
I've never been up into that part of Ohio. Well, I've been told, hey, this is going to be the best hunting. Well, me and Ward we rode up there together. We draw out together. We both get beat. And we go pleasure hunting after the hunt. We hunt for 2 hours. We treat 13 singles.
Good night.
We probably seen 50 or 60 coons.
Lord,
they'll be literally down on the ground walking around while you're walking to your dog. I mean, they're everywhere. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But you get a trailing style of dog up in that part of the world, and he don't get treed enough to win a hunt.
It's going to be hard on him, yeah.
And then I feel like trailing style dogs down here, we don't have we're not overrun with coons.
Mm-hmm.
So them old trailing style dogs, I feel like they're a little slower. They'll strike old bad track and waller it, where your more tight mouth, medium nosed dogs are not even slowing down for that type of track.
Yeah.
They're getting something and they know, hey, we need to be getting treed pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what, a man needs more than anything, something looking to get treed and not spend 30 minutes on a old feed track trying to tree it.
That's right.
Now sometimes that's pretty to sit back and listen to, dogs got a good mouth, work old bad track up and come treat. Hey, I ain't going to say I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But for running up and down the road to these hunts, that ain't necessarily the type of dog you need.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like on the pleasure side of things, I mean, does that matter on that side as well? Do you care if you weren't competition hunting and you had just a pleasure dog? as long as the dog does its job, or do you still have a preference?
That's right. As long as the dog does its job. I like a dog that, would take a track as he comes to him. Whatever he comes to first, that's what he trees.
Now,
I like that.
When that dog gets treed, you want a dog that's going. I know in the competition side, like I said, I'm more familiar with the squirrel dog stuff, and our dogs a lot of times they're bouncing all around, running around the tree and all that. But now when those coon dogs like that, when they get treed, you want them standing on that tree, hammered down.
That's right. Yeah, you want them. You don't want them bouncing all around. It might create problems here and there, but you just want them pretty locked in and up on that tree right there, And
Mr. Eddie Jordan. Eddie Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you know his dad, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Ed?
Yep.
Okay. He told me. He told me this is what a coon dog is supposed to treat. He had a black and tan. No, he was hunting a black and tan, and he had a walker dog before that. He said the black and tan would stand up there and dig in. He said, but the difference in that and that walker dog was, he said, that walker dog, he said, would put all 4 feet on the tree, and all his toenails would be locked in. He said his eyes will roll back in his head so far that he could see what was happening on the ground under him.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what he told me.
That's right. That's good.
That's who gave me a lot of my coon hunting education right there. So you already know.
Yeah, that's right.
I tell you, listening to those guys it's probably the greatest thing ever.
Oh, it's fun hearing them old stories, and
him and Mr. Bobby get to going back and forth. Good night.
Oh yeah, it's good to sit around and talk to them old coon hunters like that. But
we need more of that.
Yeah, for sure. And when I was a kid, going back, we used to go down every Saturday morning. We'd wake up and go sit at Crosby's feed store for hell a whole day someday. All the Saturdays, spend a whole Saturday down there just shooting the bull.
Yep.
And that a lot of that don't get done no more. Things like that.
That's what we were doing when we first opened up, and I was able to be here at the store itself a lot more than I am now. And that's what we found ourselves in the midst of right there. If it was a rainy day during the week, a rainy morning, about 10 o'clock, between 9 and 10, I was going to be on about the 4th pot of coffee and about the 40th story. And I'd have anywhere from 3 to 10 guys in here that was in, most all of them was 60 years old or older. And I'm telling you, they would sit and talk and tell stories and talk about old dogs and hunts and stuff. And that's good times right there. It really is. And that's what I was telling my wife. I said, we've been so daggum busy the past year, that I'm going to have to stay in this. I'm going to have to get back to that. So that way I can keep that clientele just to keep that tradition alive. That's right. So I got to do that so I can wait and keep them old timers in here telling lies and talking trash. That's right. That's right. that don't happen much no more. It's just everybody gets caught up in this fast-paced lifestyle, and we don't slow down and enjoy them times like that. Mm-hmm. Now, doing this stuff with all these dogs that you've had over the years, do you breed and raise any dogs for yourself? Or I did. I hunted for a guy. The last guy I hunted for, Billy Wolf out of Texas. He had bought the Meg and Connor dog for me to hunt, and I did breed them, and that's what I've got a pup now. He's 10 months old, but most of the time I'm not into the breeding. Okay. And raising pups part. I just like competing, going to these hunts. But now, like Meg and Connor, I knew they were good hounds, so I knew I wanted a pup out of them. And this will be actually, if I make something out of him, and I think he's going to make, I hunt him every time I go to the woods. But this will be my first pup I've kept from weaning and kept him the whole way and raised and trained him. How old is he now? That's the Cowboy pup, right? No, that's the Connor pup. He's Connor 10 months old. Yeah, 10 months old. Got you 10
Yeah,
months
we
old.
haven't bred Cowboy. We ain't bred Cowboy yet, but I am gonna breed him to something here pretty soon. Just kind of see what he's gonna throw.
I got you. Now, what all have you won recently with? Well, go back to that Connor dog. Now,
Yeah,
y'all did a
Connor.
lot with him, didn't you?
We did. He won the Tournament of Champions 2-3 years ago, and then the guy I was hunting for, Billy Wolf out of Texas, he told me to find a dog, and I talked to JR a little bit about Connor, and I finally pried him away from JR. I got him down here, and he was one of them dogs. He could tree any kind of coon. He was the most talented coon treer that I've ever unsnapped, as far as just taking any kind of track and putting into it and having that coon. He could tree a layup coon as good as anything I've ever seen in my life. He could take a feed track, work it, move it out, tree it, and have it. And he could just jam a hot coon. It did not matter.
I got you.
He'd let you know how many coons you did have in your area. And then when you cut them other plugs loose, you think, well, they need a bullet, you know?
Yeah.
But he was good to us in them hunts while I hunted him. I think I kept him, or I hunted him about a little over a year, and won, I don't know, 40-something thousand with him. Yeah, I hear you. He's been good to us so far. I can't complain. Just yesterday we turned down a pile of money for him. So
yeah. Which
Brian didn't want to sell, and I told him I don't either. You know.
Yeah.
He's like, why would we sell? Why would we quit something that's working? And
without a doubt,
Brian Hudson. He's a good dude. That's who I hunt for now. And he sends me wherever I want to. And he's been really good to me and my family.
That's good, because, I mean, I feel like that has to be one of the most important things, is having a relationship like that. Because if you get a guy who's just doing it to try to roll a little money around or justify spending some money, you know, if they can make a couple dollars, they're going to sell it.
Right. And Brian's not that way. I got full reins on everything. I mean, he lets me, there's no pressure on me, know where I go. Hey, we ain't got to win to make it. You know, I do with that dog what I want to do. And, you know, he supports me. Whatever I want to do, he's in, you know, and he trusts me. And that means a lot to me, that, you know, a man trusts me that much with this kind of money, and, you know, the dog, and he just gives me full reins. I pretty much do what I want to, and he stands behind it 110%.
Yeah, that says a lot about yourself as well, Austin. You know, it tells people that, hey, if somebody like this will instill that amount of trust and value in you, then, I mean, you're worth it. You've
Right.
paid your dues. You know, you're trustworthy. You do what you say you're going to do, and you work hard. You got a good ethic.
That's right. I try to do people right. And I told him when we first started this, I said, hey, I'm going to spend your money just like it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to spend $1 of your money, no different than I would spend $1 of mine. And I don't. And it just works. I like not having no pressure. That means a lot to me. You know, he's not forcing me to do nothing. He don't force me to go to any hunt. I go to whatever I want to. And, you know, I could imagine, I've never really had a hunting for somebody that's terrible, but, you know, I can imagine there's some out there saying, hey, we really need to win here, you know, or we're not going to get to do this or get to do that. You know, that I wouldn't like that aspect of it.
No, that'd be pretty tough. And I was sitting there thinking that, and I was like, I wonder if there's or owners like that out there that's, you know, they might have got too much into it and be like, hey, or they're in a tight spot themselves and they need to win. You know, that would have to be a tremendous amount of pressure on a handler.
Yeah.
And then also on the other foot, are there handlers out there that take advantage of some of the owners?
Oh, 110%
You know?
there is. And it works both ways too. And
yeah,
I don't know. I ain't built that way. And like like me and Ward was talking on the way home from Ohio. He's hunting for a guy out of North Carolina or South Carolina. I can't remember. His name's John Michael Morris. I've never met the guy, but I talked to him a good bit. Man, he is as good a dude as you'll meet. And that's Michael Ward's boss man now. But like me and Brian and John Michael and Ward, Ward said it the other night. He said, we met them through coon hunting. Dogs is what's brought us together. He said, but really we've made a friend for life. It's more than just these dogs now.
Yes. And it's crazy how that rolls over into like what we were saying earlier. People that run dogs and that use dogs to hunt, they're different. We're all the same. We're our own people. These dogs bring us together, and you wind up meeting some of the best people that you'll ever meet, and wind up making friends for life.
I see it.
All because of a dog.
All over a dang old dog.
Yep, it's pretty crazy.
It is. It's wild. And man, when you just try to explain to people that what we're out here doing, I don't do it for a living. Some people might think I do, but I go a lot. But I've got a full-time job, whatever. But if you try to tell somebody, hey, I made this much money last year coon hunting, they look at you just like you're plumb ignorant. And they just they don't have a clue.
Yeah, there's no doubt there. I know, like I said, at first, when I first started hearing some of the bigger numbers, I was like, man, that almost sounds too good to be true. But there lies all the work and the time and effort that you have to put into it. Like you said, you're traveling all the time. You got to go to the hunts or you can't win.
That's right.
If you don't get off your butt and get in the truck and drive to Ohio and hunt a $10,000 hunt, well, you ain't going to win $10,000.
That's right.
Just plain and simple. Exactly. And there's a lot of people that they're not going to put forward that much, and they don't have the entry fees. I've heard people complain about that. Same thing like with our hog bays and stuff. We go to some that the entry fees are a little bit of nothing. Then we go to others where the entry fees are pretty steep. But when you win a good paycheck.
Yeah, and that's the pro sport deal. They don't have smaller entry hunts. I mean, they have $200 or $300 hunts, but $200 or $300 is a lot. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. If I was paying my own entry fee, I've got 4 kids and a wife, and they're my main priority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not paying $500 for an entry fee for a dog to get out there and screw up.
Yeah.
Me with 4. Now, I absolutely love doing it, and that's a good thing. Like I'm glad I can do what I do and have somebody back me, because I couldn't do it if it was just me.
Yeah.
But PKC has a platform for everybody. I mean, you can go to a $35 hunt. They have all entry fees.
Now on that, those PKC hunts like that, that's the ones that I noticed. Usually they have them a couple of nights a week, right?
Yeah.
Local hunts.
I mean, right. They'll have 2 or 3, local hunts a week. You can go to, I think Monday was Tuscaloosa, and I don't know, maybe last night was Horton. Tonight, I think Reform's got a hunt. I mean, there's, you can go to a $35 hunt within an hour and 15 minutes of your house about any given night.
And that's where it seems like that right there would be where you would, it'd be a good place for somebody who was getting started into it to look into that.
It is. You put up with a lot of junk, a lot of bull crap and it's hard to think of it this way, but if you go to, say, the $100,000 hunt, they have 2 of them a year. If you go to one of them or any bigger entry fee hunt, that hunt is run smoother and less arguing and than at a $35 hunt.
Oh yeah.
Because you got, Joe Blow out here that ain't been in many hunts, that don't know no rules. He may be out here arguing something he don't know nothing about at a $35 hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that's cool too, but that's just that side of it,
Yeah. Where at those bigger hunts, he's not even going to They're not even going to
No.
entertain it. Yeah, it's like, no.
Everybody knows what's going on. If you're at a big hunt, you know what's up.
Yeah, it's a different caliber.
Yeah. Different atmosphere, different caliber of dogs, different people.
Yeah, that's what's the so what would you say is the most common breed that's run in the competition side of things, and what's the winningest breed?
Walker, Trey and Walker by a landslide. I mean,
By a landslide.
It's very rare that you draw off colored dogs.
I got you.
I mean, let's see. I was in, when we was in Ohio this weekend, there was no off color dog. I mean, it's just very rare to see off color dog. And personally, I've been with some decent English dogs. But I'll just be honest with you, I ain't been with an off color dog that could eat my dog feed.
Really?
I mean, I know there's good ones.
Well, yeah, I mean,
every breed, and I would give anything to have a good red bone, just because that's what my dad growed up hunting. That's what my papa hunted all his life, and man, it would just be cool to have a good red bone. I'd love to, but I just ain't never seen one. Now I've never tried to raise and train one either. So
yeah,
but there's good ones and bad ones in all breeds. But I don't know. I just Walker, without a doubt, win more, and that's the most popular thing.
Okay, that's what I figured it was myself, because that's what you see a lot of, and there's a reason behind that too.
That's right.
There's a reason. That's right. I think everybody that I've ever talked to, they had them like they get out there, they start, they hunt, they get it done. Simple. It's like as easy as it gets. Now, getting these dogs, hunting these dogs the way you do you have any type of, what kind of feeding program you got? Is there a special kind of feed that you use? Supplements? Any kind of exercise or training regimens? Or
no, nothing. I mean, I give mine clean water every day. They get fed once a day. Some people feed twice a day. I've always fed once a day. I feed Victor, grain-free, salmon and sweet potato, or maybe salmon and rice. I can't remember, but it's a little high. But I like the grain-free, especially during the summertime.
Yeah, they
don't get hot, from the grain and the feed, and it's what's worked for me. It's high. I mean, it's for 30 pounds, it's $76.
Yeah, that's pretty steep.
But on the other side of that is a good dog feed goes farther than a lower grade. You don't have to feed as much.
Without a doubt. And a lot of people do not see that for some damn reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It don't make sense. They'll try to save $2 a bag and feed damn near twice as much. And all they do is piss and moan. And they're like, well, I can buy this feed for $40 a bag. Well, you can buy this other feed for $45 a bag, and it's way better. Oh, I ain't doing that. And you won't have to feed near as much. But
that's right. I mean, good dog feed. See, I mean, if I wasn't competition hunting, I'd feed my dogs whatever.
Yeah.
But me doing what I do, these dogs taken care of. I mean, they're like one of the kids, I'm going to make sure they're taken care of, because in the end, I got to look at it on this side. Cowboy's putting food on the table for my family. I mean, he's won me. Well, I've won $29,000 with him since March.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to think of it as, I got to treat him like he's putting money in my pocket. He's padding my pocket. So I need to do what I can to keep him on the up and up.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's right at $10,000 a month.
Yeah. I mean, that's
pretty damn good payday.
Especially for a hobby. I mean, extra money is just, and it's something I enjoy. But on the downside of that, you miss out on a lot of things. You're gone a lot. That's why I go back to my wife,
Yeah.
She makes sure everything's taken care of. But getting a dog ready for a hunt, here's how I'm just wired. I can't just hunt. If I'm on coon hunt, I'm on coon hunt. I can't sit here for 5 nights a week and only hunt 2 nights.
Yeah.
It ain't in me. I just can't do it. If I'm going to hunt, I'm going to hunt at least 5 to 6 nights a week. Some weeks I'll hunt 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's just how I am.
And those dogs will stay in shape like that. I mean, you ain't got to do that is the exercise, you know.
That is their exercise. I mean,
yeah,
they get hunted, and some people say, "Oh, you're hunting them dogs too much." Well, there's one thing for sure. I feel like I got a dog that's in as good a shape as any dog in this country right now.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I hunt consistent. I hunt, and it ain't easy. I mean, especially right now, the way the sun, you know, it's 7:20 and the sun ain't going, you know, it's just now starting to go down. It don't get dark till 8:45, 9 o'clock. Well, you can't, I'm not just going to go out there and make one tree and go home.
Yeah.
That don't make a winner, you know. It takes several hours of, you know, pounding on them every night to get them in that shape, to get them ready to win a coon hunt.
Yeah.
You roll in at, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you get a couple hours of sleep, 2.5, 3 hours. That's what I get most of the time. And I get up and go to work.
Mm-hmm. That's that part we were talking about earlier. That's paying your dues, you know, putting that time in there, the sacrifice. And that's why these other guys, I'm not saying all of them, but there's always one or two that's over here bitching and moaning. They don't understand why they can't be at the same level.
Right.
Well, there's a reason.
And I'm a firm believer in that. I feel terrible if something happens and, you know, I can't go hunting or my hunting's fixing to slow down just a little. Football season starting, my boys playing football. Well, when we get all done, get back home, kids get in bed, I'm still going to go hunting for a little while.
Yeah.
But if I go off to a big hunt and I know I ain't got to hunt for 1 or 2 nights that week and I do get beat, I feel like that's on me.
Yeah.
I feel like I ain't done what I need to do to have that dog ready.
I got you.
But some people don't think that way. Some people, man, there's some people that don't pleasure hunt and they grab a dog out of the pen, they go to a hunt, hey, they win. That's cool. That's good. You can do that every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a firm believer in you got to put your time in. You got to prepare. It's just like winning a football game. You don't not practice and go out there and play the best football team and win. You got to practice.
That's right. There's no doubt about that.
I just can't sit around the house hunt 2 nights. My wife's like, you know, why can't you just go 1 night or 2? When I first started back hunting, she was like 1 or 2 nights. I was like, no, that ain't me. If I'm going to hunt, I'm going to hunt.
Yeah, well, I mean, you putting it in there like that. And I've talked to, well, I'm going to say probably the majority of guys that have really good coon dogs and that competition hunt. They all hunt 4 or 5 nights a week at least.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't know how hard they hunt or how long they keep it up, but and we know a lot of the same guys, and that's the way they are. They're like, man, you got to hunt. You know, you got to run.
It's more important this time of the year than any time of the year. Cause if you ain't hunting, but say, oh, I'm going to go on Saturday night or something, you know, you hunt 1 or 2 nights a week. It's rough on them dogs right now.
Yeah.
The way the Alabama heat is, it's terrible on them dogs. If they stay treed very long, you're risking, you know, a heat stroke or whatever, you know, really potentially hurting a dog if they're not in good shape.
Yeah. Now, talking about the length of a hunt a while ago, you said hunts are around 2 hours?
It's either 2 hours or 90 minutes. Most of them now are 90. Yeah, most of them are 90 minutes now. But
90 minutes.
There's still a few that we do hunt 2 hours. All week, like during the week, these $35 events, they're just an hour.
Okay. I didn't know how, you know, like I said, that was something else I was just wanting to know myself as well. I'm going to have to get me a coon dog sometime to go. I'm going to have to start doing this.
That's right.
I got to. This is something I haven't done.
It's just like you and y'all with the hog dogs. It ain't just your job or your hobby. I mean, it's your life.
It's what you are. Yeah.
It's what I am. Like, I have no intentions or no plans on ever getting out of it again.
Yeah.
It's just, if I don't go, it ain't because, hey, I feel guilty or feel like I'm doing my dog wrong. I want to hear my dog strike and come on that wood.
That's right.
I just do.
Now in that sense right there, because like I said, I'm sure we're gonna have our podcast has really grown in the past few months, tremendously, and we're very blessed, very very thankful for that. So we got a lot of listeners in other countries now. So
Right.
give us a little terminology on what some of these things are, like what coon hunters, the lingo, what such and such means, and what how you go through a hunt, what like strike your dog, tree your dog, and tell some of the listeners what those things mean and how lay that out for them.
When you cut your dogs, when you cut your cast of dogs, and your cast of dogs is you and most of the time 3 other handlers with their dogs, they're out there competing, and you got to know your dog. You got to know what it sounds like. And when you hear your dog bark, such as mine, you say Cowboy struck. That means he has struck a track. He's opening on a track. And when he takes it and he locates on a tree, that means you say, hey, Cowboy tree. That means he throws a whole different other bark when he throws that big locate, and that he's treed that coon. You tree him, you walk in there, and you want to see a coon more times than not, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. It's
I love hearing a good dog come on the tree. Throw them big locates. I like a dog with a good mouth, big houndy mouth, but and some people don't, and what we do, it really don't pay to have a dog with a big houndy mouth, but I love to listen to it.
Yeah. That was my first time I think I was watching a YouTube video or something, and it was they had a cast, and it sounded like every dog out there opened up at the same time.
Right.
And all those guys, almost in consecutive order, each one of them, hollered strike such and such, strike this one, strike that one. And I was thinking to myself, I said, how in the hell do they know which dog done what? And because it was, the dogs sounded like they were way off. And of course, this is on YouTube. It's totally different, but I guess it's no different than, like, I know which cur dog's out there barking 40, 50 barks a minute, and which one is yipping over here and all that, so I just didn't know that much of a difference.
It's the same difference. Your dog, and at first the judge, he really don't know these dogs. There's a judge on every cast, and he really don't know these dogs, but as the cast goes, he'll figure them out pretty quick, and he'll know, if you're calling your dog treat, or if you're calling your dog and not somebody else's.
Yeah. Now can the judges hunt themselves in a cast?
It just depends. Like, there's some hunts where, you'll have non-hunting judges.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, I'm going to Illinois. We're hunting pro sport, a side-by-side hunt, hunting for a new Can-Am side-by-side. Is the first place prize. But,
hell yeah.
Now Friday night, there'll be hunting judges, somebody on that cast, pro sport, Greg and Scott and Levi. They'll pick somebody on each cast. They'll appoint a judge, most qualified, that whoever they feel is most qualified. They'll appoint that judge. So Saturday, there'll be 64 entries Friday night. So Saturday, when we come back, there'll be 16. So there'll be 4 casts, 4 dog casts, 16 dogs. There'll be 4 non-hunting judges.
Okay.
So that means somebody that's not involved with none of them dogs or owners or nothing.
Yeah.
Is going to judge that cast, and whatever that non-hunting judge says, that's how it goes. If he says he's seen the coon, hey, it's plussed up. If he says circle it up, or he makes the call and it's final.
I got you. Yeah, I didn't know. I knew that I talked to several different guys, and they were talking about having judges that hunted as well. And at first I said, man, I don't know. That sounds kind of, like there could be some shady stuff going on or whatever. But
these local hunts, you've got hunting judges, and like Friday night early, Friday night there'll be hunting judges. But like I said, for the most part, man, we all get along. There's always going to be bickering and fussing, but man, I'm telling you, for the most part, we we all get along. We know what we're out there for, and we're just competing.
You get to know each other over the course of time too. So, you know, you're out there. You might be in another state, but you're hunting with some of the same guys, and so you know these guys are straight shooters. You know which ones are full of shit and which ones are going to give you a problem.
100%. You know when you draw your cast, what kind of people. I mean, it's these same guys we hunt with every weekend. You know, same guys we hunt with in Ohio, Illinois. I mean, that whole group of coon hunters, we travel around together, you know.
Yeah. What's the biggest number of entries you've seen in a hunt that you can think of?
Well, most I don't know. Maybe, I mean, just number of entries, probably like the UKC Winter Classic style. You know, there'll be, I mean, over 100 entries. See, most of you hunts now are cut off. Like this weekend, it's 64 dogs and it's cut off. And that's a bigger hunt. Most of them, like when me and Ward was in Ohio this weekend, you know, it's a 16 dog pro classic, $2,500 entry fee. 16 dogs, and that's it. And that's the way 90% of them are. It's either 64 or 16 nowadays.
I got you. Now, though, you're
big. I'm referring to your bigger hunts. You know, I'm not your small hunts. I mean, you can have how many ever you need. You know, you can have 50, but it's just we don't ever. You know, at a small hunt now, you're not going to have 16 dogs is a huge crowd.
Yes. Now, those, how many places does it pay out?
This weekend, like say I win Friday night, but Saturday night I get beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1,250 entry fee. So I get $1,000 back if I get beat. If I win Friday night and get beat. But now, like I said, first place is the new Can-Am Defender Limited HD10 and a trailer.
Shit.
So you're looking at $40,000, 35.
Yep, 35, 40 grand there.
And then second place pays $8,500, third pays $5,000, and fourth pays $3,000.
Yeah, that ain't bad. If you can place, you're doing all right.
I mean, that's pretty good payout. You know, it ain't terrible. The $100,000 hunt now, I think it paid out. Well, here it is right here. Total awards paid at the $100,000 hunt. Now, this is a $4,000 entry fee, 64 dogs. It paid out $233,000.
Good Lord. That's a chunk of change.
Oh, it's crazy. That's why, man, it's crazy to wrap your head around it. 100,000 for first, 34,000 second, 24,000 third, 15 for fourth. And then your cast winners, you know, like I said, that don't advance. So on Saturday, the top 16 that don't advance the final four, they got $5,000 apiece.
Dang.
So they took at this past $100,000 hunt, they took it and the final four split. They got $43,375 apiece.
Good night. See, when I was trying to remember who I was talking to. We was talking about $100,000 hunt, and they kept trying to explain it to me like, you know, the however many places that was paid, they split $100,000. I was like, no. I said, and that's what I think that's what they were talking about is the final four just decided to split, and like we've done that in a bay off. You know, say there's a three or four way tie. Instead of just keep on running, everybody just split it up. Hey, take what you got and let's move on.
Right.
And everybody comes out, you know.
I mean, $43,000 a piece in a final four like that. That's
pretty damn good.
That's a damn good payday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big coon hunting, but you know, some of them are hunted off. It takes one person in that final four to say, let's roll it.
Yep.
You know, that's all they got to say.
Right.
And somebody's going to walk away, you know, $100,000 richer.
Mm-hmm. Now, and you say they're doing 2 of those hunts a year now?
They do 2 a year. That's right. One in Crowville, Louisiana, and one in Junction, Illinois.
All right. And that's so what other big hunts like that you said they did truck hunts and stuff too, right?
Pro Sport tries to do one truck hunt a month. And then you got you $6,500 and $2,500 pro classics that most of the time of a given weekend you can go to somewhere, every weekend.
Gotcha. Man, it sounds like it's, the more we talk about it, I can definitely see the attraction to it.
Yeah.
As far as
you can win a lot of money, but for a guy, you can win a lot of money and you can do good. But for a guy that's being the backer, he can also, in that sense, lose a lot of money. Them $6,500 entry fees and $2,500 entry fees, and then they're fronting, all your gas and hotels and all your expenses and dog feed. Hey, if you don't win, they're going in the hole pretty good.
Yeah, that's a $6,500 hunt. They're going to knock 10,000 out. For you to go there, put you up, and do whatever. It'd be close to it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's you can win like you. I mean, that's why I say it's gambling. You can win money, but in that same sense, if you don't win a little bit, you can also lose a lot.
Yeah, we've dealt with that. Like I said, on the hog baying side, I've literally seen, and these are some people that I know. I have seen them take the last little bit of money they had and pay entry fees, and I'm thinking, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And
I would never put my family in that kind of
we're the same way. I have been to a lot of them, and I went just for damn moral support. I'd go drink a cold beer and watch dogs run, and they're like, "You ain't running dogs?" No, not this time. And the reason is there's my dogs weren't ready, or I didn't do something that I felt needed to be done. Either that, or I wasn't there financially. Now, I'm not going to gamble on. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll throw a lot of it down, but I'm not going to do without for it. If I can help
100%.
it,
I just can't. I don't know. Which I'm not rich and I'm not wealthy. Me and my wife, we got good jobs, but we also know we got 4 kids. And I'm thankful for people that push me to, and go up and down the road and support me, like Brian, because I know that I wouldn't get to do it without people like him.
Mm-hmm. He sounds like a damn good guy for real.
Oh, he is a super good guy. And I just know that, like I said, even a $500 entry fee, I'm just can't sense, but I feel like I'm taking money away from my family. And hell, he's doing the same thing. He's taking money from his family and giving it to me.
Yeah.
But Brian's in a little bit different tax bracket, no Austin.
I hear you. But that's a good thing that you think of it like that, because there's a lot of people, they're not even going to think about it. Like the first thing they say is, well, hell, he's in a higher tax bracket, so whatever,
Right.
Like you're worried about not blowing any money. You don't want to blow money. Like if you got to spend it, that's fine, but it needs to be notable and for a reason.
He knows 110%. I mean, I've called him and we have an entry to a hunt, a $3,000 entry or whatever to a hunt. And I'll say, hey, we need to sell this entry. Dog ain't looking good. Yeah. Because I don't want to spend his money, no different than I would spend my own. And he knows that. And also, I'm not going to waste a weekend away from my family when I know something just ain't right.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like I'm ready, the dog's ready. If I don't feel like everything's on the up and up, we're not going.
That's right. And these dogs, I'm like you said, they relate. They're more like people than what people think, because they have off days. They have days they just don't feel good, and
100%. They're do not realize
that's
that.
right, and they're just tired, or their head just ain't in the game, or their heart ain't in it that day. And then there's other days where you're like, look at this son of a bitch go. I mean, you can't believe how good they do. And so if you got enough sense to know, hey, my dog ain't where it's supposed to be, then you should have enough sense to know when to say when.
That's right. We expect too much out of these dogs, I'll just tell you. And I know you expect your dogs to perform like a machine every time. And I expect that out of mine. And that's what separates a really good one from a common dog, is the consistency. But You also got, and we get mad, you know, when them dogs don't operate right, and I get frustrated, and I probably whoop and shock on them more than I should. But when you really step back and think about it, it'll be the next day when you cool off. But you think, hell, you know, he's a dog.
Yep.
Hell, he might not have felt good. He's not a machine.
That's exactly
right. And we expect our expectations for these dogs now as a whole group of hunters, I feel like, period, not just coon hunters. I'm talking about squirrel hunters, y'all being hog. I feel like we expect way more out of these dogs than what we used to.
Yes.
And the reason for that is because of the amount of money we compete for.
Mm-hmm. It changes everything.
It does.
And when we first went out to Louisiana, we were going to Georgia and competing. Well, we went to Louisiana and Texas, and man, I'd heard a lot of stories about, you know, how people were, they were different and all that. The competition was stiffer is all it is. The entry fees cost more and the payouts were bigger. And there is a bigger competition versus over here to other places we were going where entry fees wasn't that much. And it was more, we were all hanging out, just having a good time.
Right.
And people were like, well, man, you know, so when we start going out there, you can see how good your dogs really are. But then, like you said, you tend to start to expect more and more and more because of the caliber that you know you have, and then the amount that you're putting in it. And especially if you're not getting it back, man, you really get to get in your feelings then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You don't realize how much you expect out of them either. And people are, oh, you're crazy. That's not, they're an animal. They're a working animal. I get that. They are. I promise you, I see it that way. But you got to see it as, you know, they wait. Some mornings we roll out of bed and we just ain't got it that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a professional football player, or major league baseball player. You know, they have off games. These dogs have off days.
Yep.
It's just facts.
Ain't no doubt. Like you were saying earlier about getting in a funk. How often does that happen? I mean, and what do you do to try to get out of it when you get in a bad slump like that? And it just seems like you can't get nothing right.
I've been blessed. I'm not bragging by no means, but I ain't been in one in a long time.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I may get my butt beat this weekend and go on a heck of a losing streak, but now I've had a good buddy, Drake Robertson. He's from up around Florence.
Yeah.
He got in one here, and Drake's as good a handler and as good a guy as anybody in this country. Drake's had a lot of success hunting and hunts a hell of a dog. Got a good dog. Now, he was in a slump here a while back, and hey, when he showed up, you could just tell. When he was at a hunt, he'd show up, and he just looked like he had life sucked out of it.
Oh.
Because it's just a bad feeling. Because I've been there, but all you can, that's like I said, Drake, all you can do is keep going. Because when you snap out of it, hey, you're out of it. You got to get that monkey off your back. It's almost as hard as trying to win your first hunt. You get in one of them funks, and it's a terrible, terrible feeling. And Drake, I think, lost 20-something casts in a row.
Damn.
That's a lot of hunts and a lot of entry fees.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. That's a lot. Sounds like me. That's the way I do sometimes.
But I've been blessed, and a lot of it goes back to these guys that are behind me. They keep me with a good dog, and I keep them in shape, and I do the rest. But you get in them funks, and they're terrible. And then, like I said, you vice versa. You get on them hot streaks, and you ride that high until the end.
That's right. So you think the sport as a whole is going in the right direction?
A lot of people will say a lot of negative things about the sport right now, but I just think anytime that the sport's getting looked at as much as it's getting looked at, and it's on social media platforms and the money behind it, now in a sense that money has forced the working men not out of it, but kind of put them aside.
Yeah.
I do feel that way. And that's me. I mean, I try to take that side, but I still feel like just because I'm not a professional baseball player, I still feel like it's good. It's a good thing, the Major League Baseball. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I feel like there's a major league of coon hunting now. And I feel like
there you go.
It's definitely a positive thing when it's getting looked at and more people are getting involved and seeing what we do. I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I agree with that part, because it's what you just said about the major league side of it. It's the same thing with what we do. Like I said, we went to a different place. It was a different level of competition. We were blessed enough. Our dogs actually stayed in there and competed. We won some.
Right.
But at the same time, that's when you realize that you are in a different level.
For sure.
You're like, oh, these are the best in the world. And I'm standing right here getting my picture taken right along beside them. So that means I'm up here. And then when you go to these other places, when you go to these other places, people don't want to see you coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, damn, here they come. And so, there's got to be a level to it. It's just whether people want to accept it. And like you said, I know it is harder for the average working man to pay a $6,500 entry fee, but there's also hunts for everybody out there. It might not be that hunt, but there's hunts that everybody can hunt.
Right. Just because I can't afford to go myself, if I didn't ever go to another one, I'm not going to put shed a negative light on somebody having a $6,500 hunt, because it's a good thing for somebody.
Yep.
You know, I'll tell a little funny story. I go all over and Ward comes and hunts with me a couple times a week. And the other nights, me and Dustin, he's an all-time winning handler. He's the best there is in the sport. He's won over $1 million. We hunt together every night nearly, 3 or 4 times a week. But, we still hunt these local hunts. We just always have. A lot of these big timers that hunt these big hunts, they won't even go to a $35 hunt. Dude, I love it. I like going and shooting the breeze with the old coon hunters that still come. And I always, if I can support a local club, I'm going.
Yeah.
So the downside to some of this is you get to doing good with a dog such as Cowboy and the Conor McGregor dog I had. Well, you win all this money with them, and you take them to a $35 hunt. Well, all right, they have an off night, and Billy Bob over here beats you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Man, hey, they might as well won the world. They might as well have won the world hunt. And just listening to them brag, and people will call you the next day, so and so beat old Cowboy, and I'm just like, I'm glad he feels like he done something, but he ain't get no cherry, because that ain't the first time I ever been beat. But that's the downside of hunting these big, more competitive dogs. I'm not saying they're better, but say they have an off night.
Oh no, you're right. Lose. Yeah, you're 100% on that.
You're gonna lose, and then you get people talking about you dog and these smaller hunts, and it's just like, really, guy. I mean, come on now. Hey, I'll shake a man's hand every time he beats me.
That's right.
I can get beat just like I can win. But that's the downside to hunting some of these big hunts. And then, hey, man, old Cowboy goes this $35 or $35 hunt down here and get beat.
Yeah.
Hey, good job. I'll shake your hand. And then he goes and tells he won the world hunt pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But can he beat him 5 nights a week? That's the thing.
Right. And chances are, that ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's comical, and it does kind of irritate me in the same sense.
Oh,
but I do think it's funny too.
Well, I mean, and in all honesty, that's probably the highlight of some of them's whole career that they have, And so, it is at your expense. I guess at some point it's kind of they're laughing at your expense, but at the same time, it's like, you've won so much stuff. It's like, it don't matter. They're like, whatever,
right.
The dog had one off night. Somebody got lucky and hit a hole. Well, that's good for them.
That's right.
Good for them.
And that's why I said it's kind of comical. And then on the other side, it is a little You're like, really?
Yeah, because they'll run it in the ground then.
But I also think back to when I was a kid, when I started hunting. Man, if I want to cast that, somebody halfway had a big name in, hey, I was that same way.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I try to think back then too.
So talking about these big dogs like that, big powerhouse dogs. What's your top 3 dogs that you could name that you've had, and then if name the top 3 dogs that your all time dogs that you know of, not necessarily owned or handled, but the top 3 dogs that you would say of all time, and then the top 3 that you've had, and they can be the same if it's that.
That could get make me scratch my head a little bit there.
Don't make nobody mad now.
Well, my very first dog, as far as pleasure hunting, my very first dog was my favorite of all time. Just striking and treeing coons. I'm not saying the winningest or nothing. I'm saying my personal favorite. Hearing him work a track and come tree, that was my favorite. He was my first, and they, like I said, they all get better when they die. You can talk good about them, but I would love to have him back, but he's my all time favorite. But as far as these hunts go, what I got right now is probably my favorite. I've put a leash on, Cowboy.
Yeah. No joke.
And everywhere I've carried him, he puts me in a position to win. When I first got him, he was, have about 7 out of 10 coons, and now he'll string, 20 or 25 together before he misses a coon.
Damn.
He's my favorite now that I've snapped a leash on for the hunts.
Yeah.
Another good one I had back in my first stage before I quit was the Hog Creek Jake dog. Now that was a winning dude. And I feel like now if you had him in some of these bigger hunts, oh man, sky'd be the limit with him.
Really?
He was built for competition. He'd leave you barking strikes, right off your leash, and he'd be by himself in the coon tree. But that's just some of the dogs that I've had, that I've got the pleasure of handling. But my favorite dog that I've ever been in the woods with, oh man, and probably Wipeout Echo.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have seen, he's won $300,000-$400,000.
Yeah.
Echo has. And a lot of people, say, oh, I've been with him. He ain't looked good. Well, every time I've been with that dude, hey,
yeah,
he's a machine. And I really, that's my favorite dog that I've ever been with. And then the second to back that up, you had, Dustin Weed and Andy Landreth had a Full Throttle Meltdown, which was out of jigs. Now, Meltdown had a bigger heart as anything I've ever seen. He was a hard going dog, and that's definitely the top 2 of my favorites. I don't know.
That's good.
It's such a close race now with these dogs. There's better dogs now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes we don't think about it. We're like, oh, these dogs are sorry now. No, all these dogs are so good now is what it is.
Yeah.
They're all so good. They're not identical, but they're all really good.
It's hard to have a superstar that just sticks out when you got so many in that same class. And
you got, out that, money maxed out that Dustin's hunting now. He won Tournament of Champions. He's won a truck.
Mm-hmm.
He's won all kinds of stuff this year. That I hunt with him 3 or 4 nights a week. That's a really good dog. You got Ward with JoJo. I like JoJo as good as any female that I've ever stepped foot in the woods with. It's just on the female side of things. She's a good a bitch as I've been with. But all these dogs are really, really good and really, really competitive now. It's just, they run a tight race right there. It's hard to pick, hey, this is my favorite because they're all really good.
So if you got, if there's a young guy out there that's wanting to get into this, and he's got a little bit of money to spend, but he's he ain't got $100,000 to spend. What bloodline or where would you say he would need to go to find a good dog, or what kind of line of dogs? That way ain't nobody bothering nobody on social media. Where would he look to find that caliber stuff?
Man, all I could tell him would be for sure try, a Walker dog.
Yeah.
There's good ones and bad ones in every bloodline. I don't have that bloodline that I'm just dead set on. And that's just me, because I've had so many different ones. Hey, they've all been good. I'm not saying all of them have been good, but there's good ones and bad ones. I mean, you're just going to have to pick and choose. There's not, like people say, hey, like Cowboy, he's out of rodeo. Well, rodeo is a dominant reproducer right now. But on the other side of things, and I'm not throwing off on Scott Engel and his breeding program or rodeo, because I'm hunting a dog out of rodeo that I love right now. But you got to think, hell, he's bred a gazillion females. Of course, there's going to be a few good ones.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, hey, that's a dominant reproducer when, and I'm not saying rodeo. I just use rodeo for an example because he's a hot stud dog right now. But I just say, get a Walker dog, and if he is going to get a puppy, and man, it's just luck of the draw. If it turns out, most of the time, if they got it in them, it's going to come out.
10-4. That seems to be true in about every breed. They either got it or they don't.
Yep. It's hard to man make a dog, and you can tweak and tune on these dogs and man make some of the smaller things. You can tweak on them, but they're not near as good and near as consistent as the natural.
Yeah.
A dog that's naturally that does these things that you want them to do is a whole lot better than if you have to shock and beat on them to get that job done.
And that's I've heard that through several other people, that one or two guys they have podcasts and stuff as well, and they do more on the hounds, and that was a topic not long ago about training a dog and teaching a dog to hunt. And I guess he was, describing a certain thing, not necessarily the hunt in a dog, but teaching it how to hunt. And I've talked to a couple of guys, and they were telling me a few little stories about at some of the competitions that some of the handlers could drive these dogs. They could use a collar, and that's why they said they didn't want one with a tone on it. They said they could take and drive that dog through the woods. And then another guy told me he'd get the dog to tree, and he would have his leash, and he would pop the snap on it. You know what I'm saying? Just click that little snap.
Right.
Just sit there and pop it. He said he'd make that dog get on that tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that you can do to, and that's man-made stuff,
Yeah.
But there is a lot of little things in that, and I've had dogs like that where you could turn that collar light on, and you could, it's like you had a steering wheel on them. You could drive them.
That's what it was. The light on it. Yeah.
And I've had several dogs that way, and you just do that by, you practice. That's how you pleasure hunt. You do that when you're pleasure hunting. But there is dogs that pick up on that, and then there's dogs that, hey, that light don't mean a thing to that dog.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tricks and tips like that you can do and that can help you tremendously in a hunt, because you can't have a collar to tone or shock in a hunt, but they all have that collar light.
Yeah.
So, them T5 collars that, just track and have that light. Hey, if you can drive your dog with that light, you can keep it in pocket. You can keep it over here in this good patch of woods. That's a big advantage.
Yeah. That's what, like I said, when he was explaining it to me, I was kind of thinking for a second. I was like, I don't know, that sounds a little crazy. And I was like, well, no, not really. I said,
No,
we tone break them all the time, and it's not hard at all. I mean, it's very easy for our mutts. So I was like, if somebody had a dog that had some sense and put a little time in it, you could teach that dog to do a lot of stuff like that.
100%.
That's pretty wild. So you got any good stories for us before we go? Ain't nobody got drunk and got fist fighting at the coon hunts, have they?
No,
not in the competition.
There's been a few fights. Like I said, it gets heated and stuff.
Yeah.
I could sit and talk dogs for the rest of the week, but that's like me and you. We talked at our UKC state hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sit around and talk dogs of any kind forever.
That's right. But is there anything else on this that you want to add out there and get out there to the listeners?
I don't know. I don't just. Hey, if you got any kids, man, take them hunting.
Yes.
It may be something that it changes their life. It may be they may fall in love with it like I did as a kid, and they may keep them out of trouble or going down the wrong road, or you never know what these dogs will do for a man's life. Meet the people you meet. And my advice is, if you got kids or no kids, nephews, take them hunting.
That's right. Ain't no doubt. Y'all got any upcoming hunts or anything that's local to y'all's coon hunting club that you want to put out there?
Nothing big. We got a small hunt this weekend, which I'll be out of town. Jake will run it, but
yeah, man,
nothing out of the ordinary. No big hunt, no big event. We'll just be coasting for a little while and enjoying some of these smaller hunts around here.
Hell yeah. Well, you got a YouTube channel or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Man, you might ought to put some videos out like that. People love to see this stuff.
Oh, I know, and I run a GoPro. I got deer dogs, and
you might need a cameraman.
I run a GoPro during dog season, running deer dogs.
Really?
And tried to get a lot of GoPro footage, and I did. And I don't know. I give it to my buddy, Cody Moreland. He has a podcast. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
I give it to my buddy. He's in the same deer dog club as I'm in.
I got you.
Well, I give it to him, and it's on his YouTube channel.
Cool.
His YouTube channel is Outdoors in Moreland.
Outdoors in Moreland.
All of our deer dog videos are on there. He does a good job with that. I get on him because he's slow, because I come home every evening wanting to watch one.
Yeah, I do. I do Nate the same way.
He's got kids and a family just like I do. And Cody's a good guy. But I would like to do that coon hunting. It takes a lot of extra time to slow down and video some of these things that I know that even I love to sit and watch. And I'm thankful for people that do slow down and video these things. But it's extra. It adds a little extra job to it.
That's right. We might have to tag along with you guys one night. We'll get Nate on that video camera. He's pretty good at that stuff.
Man, y'all more than welcome any night. I hunt every night, and I don't think we're all that far apart.
And if we got a couple of blue ticks at the house, we could bring them and we can hunt off some feeder buckets. We might tree a coon with them blue ticks.
That's right. Hey, all I got to say is if you put it on me, you can't go tell nobody.
That's it. No, I would never do that.
Just Seth Burgett. That's the only person we tell.
Yeah, I'd call Seth Burgett and be like, Seth, you ain't gonna believe what happened.
Yeah.
No, man,
Seth's a good one too.
He do without a doubt. Everybody that I'm serious. Like I hadn't met nobody this bad, for real. I mean, seriously.
Met some interesting characters, but
I met a few that was more assholish than the others, but we all got a little bit in us.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But man, we appreciate your time. Appreciate you talking with us. Love hearing about these dogs, and
yes,
I'd like to do another one, here in a few months or something, and see how everything's going. Maybe a little check-in deal or something like that.
Shoot, yeah. Anytime y'all get ready to do one, I'll talk dogs whenever y'all get ready.
I'd like to might come to the coon club one night and do one, with several guys there, and just kind of do just a little storytelling deal like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be neat. That'd be cool.
All right,
I
brother.
appreciate y'all having me on here.
Thank you, Austin. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. See y'all.
See you. All right, y'all. That's Mr. Austin Gentry. He's a very good guy. Met him a while back. He's fairly local to us. He's within an hour drive. They have everybody in their coon club. Jeffrey Mullins, all them guys. They just reached out and accepted us like family right off the bat. And them guys got some dogs now. Austin has had some heavy hitters, and has won a lot of money.
He knows something, apparently.
Well, I mean, people that are not going to buy a dog and pay thousands and thousands of dollars up for it for you, and then pay thousands every weekend or every other weekend for you to go hunt it, and you not know shit. That's for sure. If it did, by God, I'm here, I'm there. So, but I mean, being able to get information from some of these other guys that hunt a little different species than what we normally do. And like I said, he pleasure hunts and does the competition stuff, but he's strong in the competition side of it. And one of the main reasons I really wanted to do this episode with him for a while now is because I've talked with so many guys in the bay pen stuff, and they can't wrap their head around how much dogs can really sell for, how much money you can really win. Mm-hmm. But it does take that amount. You have to have that entry fee to have it to where you can win that kind of money.
Yes.
Until it grows to a point to where you have sponsors that'll pay for that. And, we can, as long as we keep going in the right direction, that could be a possibility one day. So that's something to look forward to in life. So if any of y'all want to get into the coon hunting aspect of it, the competition side of it, Mr. Austin's one of those guys that he's a wealth of knowledge, and that'd be somebody you could definitely talk to, and he could definitely give you a few pointers and stuff like that. Or there, if wherever you're at, most places have a local coon hunting association. Get with them, find you a couple of local coon hunters, go hunting with them, check it out, see if that's something you'd like to do. Like I said, I like coon hunting myself. We just don't get to do it very much. If I had dogs worth of shit, we probably would, but our dog's a trio coon every now and then. So, but they damn sure ain't no $233,000 payouts. What he said. That's a damn chunk of change. $100,000 for first place. Yeah. Y'all keep that. Think about that. Y'all think about that. Till the next time, we will see y'all.
Thank you. Hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned for our new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. For questions, advertising, or just to chat, email DixieDoggers01@gmail.com.